from the scene and left my old team. Had to find a new approach. It's not to take a shot at my old team. I just want you to see.
What's good, Big Lou? Was from a car accident, so everything's back on track. In my off season right now, been preparing for, putting on some exercise, better conditioning, better shaping in my body. That's the lifestyle. An email response to somebody who's just having difficulty understanding what macros are and of them, the difference between, low-fat diets and low-carb diets, and, how do they determine which diet that they want, or how approach goals. So basically what I want to do is tell that person, I'm not going to say their name, and this is for anybody who falls under this category, to just, get the mentality of a diet out of your head. Get that limitations out of your head. That so-called structure on that graph or that piece of paper that you wrote down or that you printed off the internet, get that out of your head. Because you got to remember, we got 7.5 billion. There's no way possible that you can have a universal structured diet for everybody. There's no way. So all these people out there who are, trying to create diet plans to make money off of you, or whatever the case may be, just to give you generalized information that work for them, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you. And what you do is, and lose your credibility, because they're going to try something that they tell you, and it's not going to work. And if it doesn't work, then the expectations that they set forth, and they're going to, oh, this person's, and they're doing this diet, so why didn't it work for me? So I want you to take that mentality, just lose it. My diet and everything that has helped me progress was, not only educating myself, but learning the human anatomy. Understanding that you gotta have an open mind, and you gotta, when it comes to diet and fitness and macros. So what I did was I learned how macros, help the body. Macros hurt the body, because that's how you're going to learn your symptoms. You need to learn the positive and negative symptoms. And the symptoms, what I mean is if I eat a certain way and I start gaining muscle and getting stronger, those are positive symptoms. Those are positive, side effects. If I start losing muscle, losing energy, losing strength, and losing the ability to focus, and losing, muscle size and vascularity and things, symptoms. So be able to pay attention to your body to that level of detail, to where you say, hey, what am I doing? Symptom, whether that symptom is good or bad. Okay, so with that in mind, I want to get a little bit scientific, but not too scientific, because like I said, these are for beginners. They may not understand. So the first thing you need to do is with getting in, whether it's getting in shape or just getting healthier, you need to say, what is your end goal? Is your end goal just to, be a person who works a 9 to 5, wants to work out maybe 2 days a week, 5 days a week, whatever the case may be, or you want to be an extreme, you want to bodybuild, be a figure bikini girl, whatever the case may be, and what you're going to be. And I mean, you have to make, because it's up here first. What are you going to do realistically, like what that you can achieve and stick to and follow? You have to determine your level of activity. Your level of activity determines your macros. That's what should be your macros. And that's not the same every day. Keep that in mind too. I think that's very, very important. Your macros will not be, because every day is not the same. If I go and train legs today, tomorrow I train cardio, is that the same? No. So my requirements for my nutritional requirements and muscular requirements to be able to achieve those workouts is not going to be the same. To have certain rules that allow you to adapt macros needed to achieve your goals for that day. So I always say, well, okay, what's the purpose of carbs, fats, vitamins, minerals? Okay, so let's say from a health standpoint, you need vitamins and minerals, period. That's it. You need those Power 90 regardless. And that's just for basic human functionality, function of the organs, function of the brain, hormonal production, utilization. I know you guys like my I Command You to Grow t-shirt signed by C.T. Fletcher himself at the Arnold. Just want to put that quick plug in there because that's one of my motivational idols. I watch his videos to help me get through some workouts, But back to what I was saying. You need to figure out that you're going to stick to activity on a day-to-day basis, on a week-to-week basis. What's your level of activity? Determine your macros based off of that. First, know what protein, carbohydrates, and fat are, okay? Learn those things. And if you don't know those, just quickly, I want you to have the mentality. Protein is going to be primarily to heal my muscle tissue. That's it. Heal skeletal tissue and to help it either regenerate and create new tissue or to heal what's currently there. Okay? The amount of protein is based off of how much activity you do. Muscle, or are you trying to maintain muscle? Fat is the most you got bad fats, you got good fats. Learn the difference. Okay, those healthy fats are going to be great for, functionality, great for your heart, great for keeping cholesterol down, lubricating the joints, great for your skin, your hair. It's going to be great for many, 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 many things, many, many benefits, okay? Hormonal production, your sex hormones, your fat hormones, leptin, your HGH, growth hormone. Let's determine. Do you want to grow a lot? Do you want a lot of HGH? Do you want a lot of great hormonal production? Do you suffer from that? Then your fats need to be higher. But it is the most condensed form of energy. So I'll get back to that. What are the best things for carbohydrates? To me personally, I only use carbohydrates for glycogen storage. That's it. Fuel for my muscles. So if that's only fuel for my muscles, then I only need carbohydrates. You need to have that mentality. So for people who are getting into fitness, I would say structure your carbohydrate quantity and, usage of it based off of your level of activity. Your carbohydrates around your physical level of activity, okay? So we're going to determine your macros each day only based around that. So I'll give you a rule, for example. The rule I have with carbohydrates, I know that carbohydrates replenish my glycogen storage in my muscles. And it's also going to be depleted by working out. So then that means I only need carbs around my. So if I'm not working out that day, why am I consuming carbs? It just doesn't make any sense. I only can try to consume my carbs for my workout and post-workout. Learn the difference between carbs, high glycemic and low glycemic carbs. The difference is high glycemic carbs are quick available carbohydrates. They absorb immediately, a little bit of blood sugar okay prior to workout. So the best time to only have those is pre-workout. Post-workout, okay? It allows you to have that. Sometimes what I can do is I can have a high glycemic carb in a low amount post-workout, wait about an hour. That second meal, I might have a low glycemic carbohydrate, which are, slow digestive carbohydrates. They digest slowly. They will which is good. They will make your muscles fill out and stay full all day. If I know I don't have access to a lot of fats that day, I might do a low glycemic carb. Try to keep that, like I said, within an hour to 2 hours, 1 or 2 meals past post-workout, and then that's it. No other time am I consuming carbohydrates. Why? For utilization of fat. I want my body to be able to burn fat, the current fat, and to also have a heightened usage of fat. Okay? So what that means is when I'm consuming my dietary fats, my healthy fats, I want my body to be so familiar with it that my body's sole source of energy will be fat. That's it. So if, the bulk of my calories are from high healthy fats, then my body's so used to fats. So it knows what to do with it once it's inside of me, and that's going to better help your body say, hey, you know what? When these fats aren't available, I know to pull from my fat storage cells in order to utilize that fat because I'm going to be low carb, so when I don't have healthy fats around and I'm not consuming carbs, my body's going to know to pull those. And that's what most paleo diets are for. Most keto diets, I'm sorry, not paleo diets, the keto diets. Teach your body how to utilize fat for fuel because it is the most condensed form of fuel, so that even when no calories are available, it pulls from the fat storage cells first. Okay? So keep that in mind. So, your first rule, eat your carbs around your workout. That's it. Pre-workout and post-workout. Carbohydrates. That's it. Your protein, I always tell people, they always go by, 1 gram per pound body weight, or sometimes higher, sometimes lower. You can go with that. I think that that's a great tool. If you are a very, very active person and you work out 5 to 6 days a week and you work out 2 to 3 hours a day, that's a lot of wear. And that skeletal tissue gets broken down. The only way to heal that skeletal tissue is what? Amino acids and oxygen. That's it. Amino acids are going to come from your protein sources. So if you are a highly active person, 1 to 1.5 grams of protein per pound body weight. If you're just, 3 days a week, medium active person, but not high intensity, I tell people stick around 0.6 to 0.8 grams. If you're very, very low, bare minimum, 0.325 to 0.4 grams of protein. That's every day, period, regardless. Now with carbs, like I said, carbs, if you're not working out that day, don't eat no carbs. But that does not mean don't eat no fat, okay? So just find out how many calories you're going to eat per day. That's another thing. So if I said, hey, calories today, that's every single day. Now, if I'm going to have carbs or fats or protein, or if I'm not having carbs that day, then, the calories that would go towards carbs, I'm just that over to and substitute it with proteins and fats, healthy fats, avocados, nuts, extra virgin olive oil, coconut oil, things like, not margarine, not anything with hydrogenated oils, real butter. Those are, you're going to get fat in your meats as well. Now, you should not be consuming fats and carbs in the same meals, ever. It makes no sense. You're putting 2 energy sources in the body, okay? The body's only going to use one. So if I put fats in there, remember, fats are the original energy source for the human, okay? It's only going to use one. That's it. The body's going to use one and store the other. So if your goal is to lose body fat and keep yourself healthy and lower your blood pressure, lower your cholesterol, why would I consider for healthy? It doesn't matter. Okay, I could be eating, something, rice. Why would I have rice and, throw some healthy fats on top of that? I don't get that with butter. That just doesn't make sense to me. This is why peas and carbohydrates from the bread, from the dough, from the crust. This is why a burger is so bad. You're not having a fatty burger with bacon on it and then bread. It just doesn't make it the body or the other, okay? Separate your carbs and your fats. Every meal, doesn't matter, okay? So that way you're able to eat fattier meats if you want to. You want to have, a burger with some avocados on a bed of lettuce. Perfect meal, okay? Carbohydrates, you can have carbs with protein and protein with fats. But that's it. That's the only way you separate it, all right? Higher amounts of fats. That gets my body's, skills in utilizing fat at its all-time high, so that even when calories aren't available, my body's first, preferred source to pull fat. Okay, so do that. So I like to say how your diet should consist of high fats, high proteins, low carbs. Unless you're working out that day. If I'm going and doing a tough leg workout, that carb meal that I do pre-workout is going to be, it's not going to be 50 grams. It might be 150 grams of carbs. It might be 200 grams of carbs. Same with my post-workout. Arm day, it might be 50 grams of carbs and 50 to 75 grams post-workout. Meals according to your level of activity. If you are, doing 2 workouts that day and it's going to be a rough day, you should be damn near doubling your calories that day. So instead of having 2,000 calories that day, I might eat 4,000 calories that day. But if I know I'm working out 1,000 calories or bump it up to 2,200, whatever the case may be. But if I know I'm just going to go to, I'm not doing a lot of calories that day. Why would I do that? It doesn't make any sense. Your body doesn't have a purpose for it. The purpose fuel the body, utilize that fuel, and then refuel. That's how you work the body, okay? Also, too, I want to get a little bit more scientific now. I want to take it even more specific down to muscle fibers. Slow twitch and fast twitch muscle fibers. Slow twitch muscle fibers are type 1. Type 2 muscle fibers are fast twitch muscle fibers, which can also be broken down to type 2A and type 2B. Now, what is type 2 muscle fibers? Now, what is type A and type 2, or type A and type B? Type A of fast, basically a combination of slow twitch and fast twitch muscle fibers. That's what it is. It's a combination. Type 2B muscle fibers of the fast twitch muscle fibers are just fast twitch muscle fibers, pure and simple. The raw definition of that. Okay. Now, why is this relevant? Okay. We're all born with 50-50 counts of muscle fibers. Your body will have 50-50, slow twitch muscle fibers, fast twitch muscle fibers. What determines how our body either produces more of one than the other or utilizes more of one than the other is your level of activity. So this is why you got marathon runners and a sprinter, okay? They're both born with 50-50, slow twitch muscle fibers and fast twitch. In any sport, you're trained to become that, okay? You're trained, and eventually your training will develop more slow twitch muscle fibers of that marathon runner. Okay, so what'll happen is you go and work muscles. What do? You got muscle fibers. Then they tear, and then they repair. Well, if I go and work out in a fashion that trains for a marathon runner, and I'm only tearing down those slow twitch muscle fibers, what do you think my body's going to build up? Slow twitch muscle fibers. So then what happens is it throws off your percentage. So if I start off doing marathon training, then eventually instead of being 50-50, I'm going to be 60-40, I'm going to be 70-30, I'm going to be 80-20, and vice versa for the sprinter. I start doing sprinting, then my body's going to acquire those fast twitch muscle fibers. And then my body's going to tear those muscle fibers down and repair those ones. So then my percentages go off. Okay. Different parts of your body also have those muscle fibers in different. So think about it. What do you use most during the day? Your legs and your stabilizers in your body. That's where the slow twitch muscle fibers are. They're going to be in your lower back. They're going to be in your quads. That's where they are. Your fast twitch muscle fibers are going to be in like my eyelids. It allows me to blink all day. Fast twitch muscle fibers are quick outbursts of energy. Okay. Now, to understand is utilization of fuel between fast twitch and slow twitch. Fast twitch muscle fibers are quick burst release of that energy. They're muscle fibers that move rapidly. That's what they do. They move rapidly. Versus slow twitch moves slow. They're muscle fibers that move mainly larger muscles and things like that. So when fast twitch muscle fibers, those muscle fibers move rapidly. The requirement of energy is going to come from a quick source. And what would that be? Glycogen, glucose. Fast twitch muscle fibers, because they move so rapidly, high output of power, almost instantaneously, the heart cannot pump blood within those muscle fibers immediately. So what happens is the body will, the energy for those muscle fibers is relied upon combustion of carbohydrates and glucose. But with that being said, because the lack of oxygen is present, and remember, oxygen repairs muscles. That's what repairs muscles even during your workout, okay? But because oxygen, to repair that muscle, that's why you don't have endurance when utilizing fast twitch muscle fibers. Lactic acid is built up. And that's where this is where lactic acid comes from. People don't realize this. So the lactic acid is built up in a muscle. Muscle fibers will disperse that lactic acid that comes in it. And how does it do that? When you rest. So if I'm trying to power lift or increase power and strength, I'm lifting heavy weight in the gym, eventually I have to stop. My body's going to output power immediately, and then it's going to stop to recover. It doesn't have the endurance because the lactic acid built up and prevents you to stop. It tells you to stop. Hey, stop. However that longer period of time is, 2-3 minutes in between that heavy set, the body is getting rid of that. Those fast twitch muscle fibers are getting rid of that lactic acid. And what happens? Because the lactic acid can't be broken down to carbon dioxide. So it gets kicked out of the muscle fiber. Okay, the liver, okay, is what converts that lactic acid. It takes that lactic acid and processes it back into oxygen and back into glucose, and it restarts the cycle again. The body takes that glucose and carbohydrates from the stored glycogen, okay, utilizes it, lactic acid builds up, it gets kicked back out of the fast twitch muscle fiber, and the liver goes right back, it kicks it out of muscle fiber, the liver processes glucose. And that constantly re-put out outputs of power. But once that glycogen is gone, then the body can't combust the glycogen no more, and that's usually the end of the workout. You have no high output of power. Now, on the opposite side, with slow twitch muscle fibers, the body is relying on, because the heart has time to pump blood into those slow twitch muscle fibers, so the body will utilize energy for ATP, adenosine triphosphate, for fuel. So then you're able to sustain that longer, okay? Because the heart is just constantly pumping blood, carrying that oxygen. Weaker output of power, but steady for longer periods of time. And how is that important? Because I said glycogen. So, but where do glycogen come from? Carbohydrates. So the carbohydrates that you utilize for pre-workout meal will be utilized for fast twitch muscle fibers. There you go. Okay? And your body's going to be carrying the oxygen from your pump and everything like that to utilize your slow twitch muscle fibers. This is why it's important to structure your workouts to where you're utilizing both muscle fibers. Okay, so I hope that this video is able to help you guys. Like I said, eat your carbohydrates around your level of activity for that day, and limit it for around the level of activity for that day. Protein, except for like the days you work out, your body requires acids. What is protein? Protein is just, made up of amino acids. You work out that day, you put more amino acids in. You don't work out that day, you still put in a steady amount of amino acids that day in order to sustain the muscle fibers or to heal from the workout, because it takes time for that skeletal tissue to heal itself. Vitamins and minerals, essential. You have to have them every single day just for proper brain function. I'm an advocate of higher amounts of fats for hormonal reasons. It is hormones that regulate. If you look up leptin, if you don't believe me, it's the fat burning hormone. HGH, human growth hormone, sexual hormones. So if you want to increase your sex hormone, your growth hormone, your fat burning hormones, you need to have a steady amount and a higher amount of healthy fats in your diet. So avocados, healthy nuts, walnuts, cashews, almonds, things of that nature, your fats in your meats, things like that. You can have a decent amount of those. I hope this helps everybody. If you have any questions, leave comments below. Subscribe to my channel, Steel City Muscle. Yesterday, everybody stay safe. I'll holler at you.